in the final game of the series, it obviously had some controversy. Edwin Diaz got ejected before he took them out having excess sticky stuff. He'll serve a mandatory 10-game suspension. Jolly, I'll start with you. What's your thoughts on what happened there in the ninth inning? I know he didn't have a chance to wash his hands. People are saying it's controversial. Thoughts?
Yeah, it's tough because Mets fans, I think, have endured this more than any other fan base. We've had 7 suspensions for sticky stuff. 3 of them have been Mets pitchers. And it's kind of the same song and dance. You know, if it isn't sweat and rosin, like umpire Vic Carpazza claimed, what is it? Because we're not really sure. Edwin Diaz isn't really sure. But in terms of the roster construction of the Mets, it's a tough blow. The bullpen's been stabilized. A big reason for that was Edwin Diaz's return and everyone sliding down the depth chart. Now you find yourself not only shorthanded, but back in that square one problem of who's going to close games now? What is it going to look like? But on the other hand, if the Mets continue to mash the ball and these save opportunities aren't coming because we're winning by so much, you can get through this 10-game stretch without Edwin Diaz. It just stinks because you saw how much confidence he was regaining in those last 2 outings. Now it seems like that progress has basically gone backwards, and we're going to have to wait, a couple more weeks to see him get back to where he was.
It's a major bummer. You nailed it. The turnaround over the last week and a half is due to the fact that they're not yucking up games in the ninth inning. And before Edwin Diaz went on the injured list, he was a major part of that. We saw in his absence, the Mets couldn't find anybody, quite frankly, to go and close in the ninth inning. And listen, Niki, I don't really care about this sticky stuff. I said it with Scherzer last year. I said it with Cole a couple of years ago. It to me is a whole lot to do about nothing, but there are rules in place, right? So my feeling is don't get caught. So I don't know what to tell the Met fan. I feel bad that you're not going to have Edwin Diaz for the next 10 games. I think it might cost the Mets a game or two where they don't have their closer in a one-run game against maybe the heart of a particular team's batting order and whatnot. But there's really no way to fight it. It is what it is. It stinks. Got to find a way to buck up and fight through it over the next 10 days. That's that.
Jolly, do you think that with Clark Schmidt and Scherzer having the chance last year to wash their hands when they had the sticky stuff on, do you think it's like anything against the Mets that they haven't got that treatment, or do you just think there was too much on his hands that they just didn't want to give him a chance?
I think it's most likely the latter. Maybe they just thought it was too far gone and it warranted that ejection and suspension. But all I ask for is consistency in these incidents. We haven't really seen that. There's been varying circumstances, varying levels of sticky, if you want to say, on each pitcher's hand. But if some pitchers are afforded an opportunity to clean themselves up and finish the game and not get suspended, I think it should be stretched to every pitcher. Or if you want to go conversely, if you find anything, you're ejected immediately, no second chances. Have that uniform across the board. I think a big problem with this entire situation, not only for the Mets and Edwin Diaz, but for any instance where this has happened, is the ambiguity of the ruling. Because if it's not sweat and rosin, what is it? We still don't know. We probably will never find out.
A lot of frustration, Niki, from Met fans saying, are they out to get us? Is it only the Mets that are the ones that are violating this sticky stuff nonsense? My feeling is this. Don't get caught. I mean, literally, don't get caught. It's like if you can find a way to stay under the radar and have a little extra substance on your hands, more power to you. But you got to find a way to stay under that radar. And, yeah, I would have preferred Diaz had the opportunity to go and wash his hands. Probably still would have gotten this suspension and probably still would have gotten thrown out of the game. But if he was given that opportunity, at least we wouldn't be talking about it.
Yeah, it's also very subjective. Like, you see the pictures and you're like, it looks like it's a lot, but it's also hot. So one of those things that's subjective.